Hello everyone, welcome to Arka Science, and today in this video I will be talking about the retrogression of Mercury which is happening in the sign of Aries for all 12 ascendant signs. On 21st of April 2023, Mercury turned retrograde in the sign of Aries. And the day after, on 22nd of April, Jupiter entered the sign of Aries. So many things are happening in the sign of Aries because basically it is a four planetary conjunction: Rahu, Jupiter, Sun, and Mercury, and basically it is the retrograde Mercury. So, very powerful planetary energies are getting concentrated in the sign of Aries, and this retrograde Mercury, this energy associated with this Mercury, is going to be very vital and significant for every one of us. This retrograde energy is not only going to test our logical reasoning but also the influence of Jupiter, that is our wisdom. Everything related to our wisdom, our knowledge, our logical and analytical reasoning, basic creative intelligence, everything will be under the scanner. How we are able to take the decisions regarding our personal life and also in our social life also, because just opposite to Aries we have the sign of Libra. So everything we need to be very careful of. One thing I will say here is that, which is the most important part, the influence of Sun and Rahu. Sometimes, I will say not sometimes, many a times, our ego comes in between the reality and our thoughts. Means we feel that whatever we are doing or whatever we are thinking or our decisions, we feel that it's correct because our ego makes us feel like that. That is what that Sun and Rahu will try to think or make us think. Okay, because Jupiter will be under the clutch of Rahu, you see. So basically this is a time when we have to train ourselves regarding that. Wheresoever we feel that things are not going to get right, we need to be very careful that these are the things which are good for us and these are the things which are not good for us. We should be very straightforward regarding that. We should not allow our ego to come in between, because if we allow our ego to come in between, then what will happen? This retrograde Mercury will make us do or redo the things again and again. Like suppose out of our ego we say something, because that is what Mercury happens to be in Aries, because it makes a person a very fast communicator, correct? So out of our ego we suppose shouted on someone because we felt that, oh, what will happen to me, let me, I am the boss, okay, this kind of feeling. But later on, this retrogression of Mercury, as it is going backwards in the retrograde motion, a time will come when we will feel that maybe we need to reconsider our decisions. Okay, and the most important part here is that on 15th of May, Mercury is turning direct. So that will be the time when we will actually realize the situation. Although it will be in conjunction with Rahu, Jupiter during that particular time, but it will be a time of realization for us, because around that 15th of May, Sun will change the sign. Sun will come out of Aries and it will enter the sign of Taurus. And since Taurus is a very stable sign, very earthy sign, so it will be like the reality hits. Okay, that will be the time. So we need to be very careful during this particular time, because that influence of Sun and Rahu. Okay, now basically when we talk about the retrograde planets, see, astronomically no planet moves backwards. Okay, but in Vedic astrology, if you check the longitude of the planet, since it is a geocentric astrology, we it feels as if the planet is moving backward, as if it is just like looking from the earth. It feels like as if the planet is moving backward. So you will see that a time will come when Mercury, the longitudinal degree wise, you will see that it is moving backwards towards Rahu basically. Okay, so that will be the time when we need to be very careful. Okay, now if you are new to this channel, then I will say that uh, subscribe the channel, tap onto the notification bell icon, so that every time I make a new video you get notified instantly. And anytime if you want a consultation from me, check the links in the description section. You can mail me through my email id, or you can also get connected with me through my Facebook or Instagram accounts. So come, let us start for all the 12 ascendant signs, and I will say check this first from your ascendant sign. That is the most important thing. Then check it from your moon sign. Okay, but first check it from your ascendant sign. Okay, so for the Aries ascendant people, Mercury retrogression is happening in your first house, and Mercury rules your third house and your sixth house. So basically, during this particular time, you need to be very careful regarding your speech, your communication, which is going to be very important. Out of your ego, out of your impulse, don't say something which you should not say. Your thoughts should be backed by proper logic and wisdom, because you see, this retrogression of Mercury will definitely challenge certain things, because certain challenging situation will come in front of you where you may feel that you took some action, you made some efforts, but you are feeling that again I have to restart it, or again I have to redo it. Okay, so it's a high time when you need to be very careful that whatever you are saying, whatever you are conveying, specifically at this social level and with the other people, it is going to be very important. Secondly, since Mercury, Rahu, Jupiter all will be transiting in your first house, this is also a time when your decision making will be very important part in your life. During this particular time, any decision you make, it should be completely backed by discipline and punctuality. Don't delay the things, because since it is retrograde, so what will happen, you may feel that let me do this, let me do that. Okay, and Saturn's aspect is also there, so try to make certain things on time, be punctual, be disciplined. That will be giving you much more better results. Taking care of health during this particular time is going to be most essential. Mercury happens to be your sixth lord also. Sixth lord Mercury looking onto your seventh house. Now this is a point to be taken care of. How you are communicating with your partner at the personal level or at the professional level, these are the things you need to be very careful of. Okay, so if I give you a brief summary, then I will say health, communication, your efforts, your actions, how you are dealing with your partner or the other people, specifically how you are communicating at the social level, um, your friends, anyone in your daily contacts. Okay, your younger siblings specifically. Okay, so these are the things you need to be very careful of. Yes, one more thing I will say, since sixth house is also the house of job, office colleagues and all, so at the office environment also, the place where you are doing service, the place where you are doing job, that place also you need to be very careful regarding how you are maintaining the office documents. Or suppose you said something at the office level, you need to be very careful regarding that what you are conveying or what you are saying. Okay, so these are the things you need to be very careful about. So that's it for the Aries ascendant people. For the Taurus ascendant people, this retrogression of Mercury is happening in the 12th house. Now, Mercury is a very important planet for the Taurus people. It is the second lord and it is the fifth lord. So, it is one of the good planets for the Taurus ascendant people. Now, that planet Mercury is transiting in the 12th house, that also retrograde. So, the essential part here is that you need to be very, very careful regarding your expenditures and your health, because what I can see that in case of any prevalent health conditions, there can be expenditures related to your health. Okay, there can be some decision making related to your finances will be under the scanner. So during this particular time, I will say, or I will advise you, don't make any hasteful decision regarding your expenditures. Or all of a sudden, suppose you felt that okay, let me buy it or let me get it. Don't do that all of a sudden. It should be like with proper planning. If you have planned it, in a proper way with all the upcoming consequences, then that's a different thing. But suppose all of a sudden, because Aries is a very impulsive sign and Mercury is retrograding, so all of a sudden it will happen. It is a very, now retrograde planets are very erratic in nature, okay, so it will be like sudden upsurge. Okay, so I will say that don't make any hasteful decision related to money or finances. During this particular time, don't make any major investment plans. Secondly, there can be some sudden miscommunication with your family members during this particular time. So I will say that, suppose if you are connecting with your family, or you are thinking that let me uh, do this or do that at the family level, in that also I will say have a proper conversations, have proper meetings and everything with them, then only you can take some step. Otherwise I will say that this is not a appropriate time for that. This is also a time when you may get chance to move abroad, okay, or some far away place. Like suppose if you are planning to go to some far away place with respect to earn money, or regarding means for the source of livelihood or something like that, in that case also this particular transit of Mercury is going to helpful, like in far away lands, okay. Otherwise I will say take care regarding your health. And one more thing, during this particular time you should also be very careful regarding the health of your children, because Mercury happens to be your fifth lord. Try to avoid any matter related to speculation or speculative business. If you are in a love relationship, then this transit of Mercury is going to be a bit difficult for you. So this is also advisable that this is not a good time for you to get into any kind of love relationships. Okay, so after Mercury turns direct, that will be I will say after that you can think about it, but this is not a good time for it. Okay, so that's it for the Taurus ascendant people. For the Gemini ascendant people, now Mercury is the Lagna lord, Mercury is the fourth lord. It is retrograding in the 11th house. Normally, transit of Mercury in the 11th house is considered very good, but here Mercury is retrograding in the influence of Rahu, Jupiter, and Sun. So, here, 2 3 things I will say. Since Mercury is retrograding in the 11th house, so some good effects are there. Definitely some good effects are there, because it is, first of all, it is creating dhan yoga, it is creating a wealth creating yoga. So suppose if you are expecting a raise in your income or hike in your salary, then during this particular time you may get it done, or you may get some good news regarding to your financial gains, okay, during this particular time. Or suppose if you are thinking that let me start some new work and let me expect some good returns from that, okay. Or suppose you are working on certain things but you are not getting good returns, so during this particular retrogradation of Mercury, all of a sudden your dreams may get fulfilled, okay. This is the good things. Now let me talk about the other side of the story, is that 11th house is also the house of network circle, big organizations, okay. Now that is also with respect to your work, okay. Now here, suppose if you are working in a team, or suppose you are working in a big organization, then I will say you, during this particular time there can be some misunderstanding, there can be some miscommunication, or there can be some possible envy between you and your network circle, or it can be within your team, because of that influence of Rahu and Sun over there, okay. So you need to be very careful regarding that thing also. Don't trust everyone in one go. Look into the things appropriately, and then only you should take proper results or proper decisions regarding that, okay. Suppose if you are making new friends during this particular time, I will say that don't trust all of a sudden everyone. Make sure that you are taking into consideration each and everything, then only go for it, okay. During this particular time, all of a sudden some person may means with regards to love and relationship, all of a sudden some person may come in your life, okay, because Mercury will be looking onto your fifth house all of a sudden. But I will say you that before you commit into that relationship, wait for Mercury turns direct. Okay, wait for it and then only take proper decisions. All of a sudden don't commit for it. Wait till 15th of May and then you can take any further decisions. Okay, one more thing I will say you that Mercury happens to be your fourth lord also. So during this particular time it is also essential that you must take care regarding the health of your mother. And one more thing, suppose if you are thinking to have some gains related to property or property business, then this particular retrogression of Mercury can all of a sudden bring some gains for you with regards to landed property or property related or house or home related business or something related to that. Okay, so these are the things which you need to be very careful of. Okay, so that's it for the Gemini ascendant people, and I hope that this particular transit of Mercury in the retrograde motion also, most of the things are going to be beneficial for you. One or two things are there which you need to be very careful of. Okay, so make the most out of it. For the Cancer ascendant people, now Mercury is retrograde in your 10th house. Now 10th house is the most important house. Okay, because 10th house shows our status, our reputation, our karma basically, and Mercury is retrograde over there. Mercury happens to your 12th lord and your 3rd lord. Your imaginative power, your efforts, your actions, your communication, everything is Mercury. So during this particular time, at times you may feel that there you are getting some kind of issues regarding how you are communicating with your boss or with your authorities or with anyone in your work environment. There will be subsequent or I will say that some big amount of at times delays or communication gap regarding how you are trying to convey your information to the office environment. Okay, so this kind of things can be there. You may all of a sudden get some work which you may require to work alone, because Mercury happens to your 12th lord getting retrograding in your 10th house. So all of a sudden you may get some work and you are required to do the work all alone. Means you may feel that all of a sudden some big responsibilities are coming on my head, on my shoulder. Okay, so specifically with respect to the aspect of Saturn from the 8th house, Saturn is transiting in the 8th house. So these are the things which you need to be very careful. On addition to that, since Mercury is your 3rd lord, during this particular time I will say that while you are dealing with any client in your work, or while you are dealing with anyone over social media or social networking or through correspondence, specifically at the email or in the documentation process, you need to be very careful. Read the things twice, thrice. Okay, match it, then only you can work over it. Okay, these are the things you need to be very careful, because normally these are normal things, but now I'm emphasizing on these things more because of that influence of Rahu, and here the influence of Jupiter is also there. You see, uh, Sun Jupiter, what happens when Jupiter gets combusted by Sun, what happens that our ego and wisdom comes together. So we feel that we are the best regarding our knowledge and wisdom. So this kind of things may come. So out of that ego you may do some mistake, which later on you may feel that I could have spent more 2 minutes to look into it, and the mistake would have been avoided. Okay, so take some time. It's never too late. Okay, take some time, or you can do one thing. You can plan the things a bit earlier, so that in case of anything happens to be a bit here and there, you have appropriate time to work on it. Okay, so these are the things you need to be very careful of. Since Mercury is your 12th and 3rd lord retrograding in the 10th house, looking onto your 4th house, so this is also a time when if you are planning to relocate or change your residence, this is a time when all of a sudden there can be relocation or change of residence for you. Okay, so these are the things which I can see for the Cancer ascendant people. So try to make the most out of it. Okay. For the Leo ascendant people, Mercury rules your second house and Mercury rules your 11th house. So Mercury happens to be a very important planet for you. It rules your finances, it rules your income, your family, your growth, your success. Everything is ruled by Mercury in your chart, and Mercury is retrograding in your ninth house. Normally, the transit or the placement of the second lord and the 11th lord in the ninth house, it is a dhan yoga, it is a wealth creating yoga basically. It's a good yoga. But here Mercury is retrograde in the presence of Jupiter and Rahu, and also in the presence of Sun. So during this particular time, if I talk about the good things, is that during this particular time there can be all of a sudden some travels, and those travels will be beneficial for you all of a sudden, because this Mercury turns retrograde. So means it will be not under your control. All of a sudden certain things you get some chances. Okay, there can be some travels. Okay, and ultimately that will give you much more better results with respect to your overall growth, and also it will help your sources of livelihood. Okay, means financially also it is going to give you much more better results. Means you will feel that yes, ultimately now my luck and fortune is supporting me. These are the good things. Another thing which I can see is that Mercury will be looking onto your third house, so this will also improve your communication skill. Now let me talk about the other side of the story. Here you see ninth house is our belief system, and Mercury, Rahu, Jupiter, Sun all are transiting over here. So at times our ego may come in front of us, and our belief system, our logical reasoning, and our communication ability all will come up during this particular time, and this can make us at times very stubborn, very much that fixed regarding our own thought process, our belief system. Although Aries is not a fixed sign, it is a movable sign, but the important part here is that Aries is a fiery sign, it's a very impulsive sign. So once the things comes in the belief system, this Mercury, because of this influence of the other planetary energies and this retrograde motion, what will happen at times, it can make you very impulsive regarding your belief system, and it may all of a sudden come up. So I will say you that during this particular time, don't force the things on others with respect to your own belief system. Now that can be related to your own ideology, your higher spiritual knowledge, or something related to religious ideas, customs, or rituals. Okay, so this is the time where you can actually work upon on certain things related to religious customs and rituals. You can learn new things, or you can make your knowledge and wisdom much more perfect. In this way this Mercury is going to give you very very good result, trust me, because Mercury is the planet of learning, and Mercury is retrograde and in the presence of Rahu. Now Rahu is a very curious planet, you see. Mercury is also very curious planet. So during this particular time, suppose if you want to study some philosophical idea, some religious books, some spiritual books, or suppose if you want to travel to some spiritual or religious places, wonderful place, wonderful timing. Means this is not only going to give you knowledge, wisdom, but also it is going to give you that intellectual bliss. In this way this Mercury is going to give you very very good results, means financially, and if you are following the proper dharma, then this Mercury is going to give you much more better results. Only one thing you need to be very careful, don't force your opinions on others. This is the thing you need to be very careful. Another thing is that during this particular time you need to be very careful regarding the health of your father. Okay, you need to be very careful regarding that. And yes, some miscommunication can be there with your father or with your guru or with the elders of your family during this particular time, because Mercury happens to be your second lord also. And in case you have any elder sibling, with him or her also there can be some mismatch of thoughts and ideas. Okay, so this thing you need to be very careful of. Okay, and after Mercury turns direct, things will be much more easier for you, so make the most out of it. Okay, so that's it for the Leo ascendant people. For the Virgo ascendant people, now this transit is going to be very important. I will say that the most important one, trust me, for the Virgo people, because Mercury is the Lagna Lord and Mercury is retrograding in the 8th house, and in the 8th house we have Rahu, Jupiter, Sun, and now this retrogression of Mercury. So the first and foremost thing here I will say is that take care regarding your health. This is the first thing. There can be some big amount of confusion regarding your efforts, your actions, your hard work. There can be some kind of confusion and even fear and insecurity, trust me. Now how the things are arising, the now I'm going to say you just match it whether it is happening in your life or not. In the last few months, suppose you took some decision or you are working on certain things, this is the time, this retrogression of Mercury, you will question your own efforts. You will question yourself. You will think that am I in right path, or am I doing the right things, or am I wasting my time? Because you see, Mercury is your Lagna Lord and your 10th Lord. So basically it is your personality, your health, your general happiness, your fame, your reputation, your success, your karma, how people look at you, how people know you, everything is Mercury for you. Your work, your boss, your authorities, everything is Mercury. So during this particular time, this retrogression of Mercury will invoke that insecurity. It will make you feel that are you in right path. Now normally what happens, that if Mercury alone is transiting in the 8th house, Mercury is such a powerful planet, it has got the power to dig that information, that what is the thing um, which is actually getting into some kind of negligency. Let me work on that, okay, and I will be okay. But now you see, it is not alone, it is with Rahu, and basically if I talk about then Sun also. So what is happening, illusion is there, desire is there, desire to get something. Illusion means because Rahu is transiting in your 8th house from last year, so illusion is there basically. And now this Mercury is also turning retrograde over there. So what is happening, that insecurity will be there, but initially you may feel that I am not getting the answer for it. Although there will be question, there will be arising so many things within you, but you may feel that I am not getting proper answers for it. These are the things which may happen. But trust me, after Mercury turns direct, things will be much more better. And after Mercury enters your 9th house, that will be a time when you will get that sigh of relief. You will feel that yes, ultimately now I got the answer to my all the fear and insecurities. So that time it will be a giving you much more better results. So during this particular time I will say, don't take any hasteful decisions regarding to your personal life and your career and job also. Don't take any hasteful decisions during this particular time. This is the most important thing. Second important thing, take care regarding your health. Okay. Third, the third important thing, don't make any important investment or financial plans now. This is not a right time. Okay. After Mercury comes to your 9th house, that will be a time when you can think about it. Okay, so that's it for the Virgo ascendant people. Make the most out of it. Okay. For the Libra ascendant people, this transit of Mercury is happening in your 7th house, and for the Libra people, Mercury is a very important planet because Mercury rules your 9th house and your 12th house. Okay, now that Mercury, that important planet Mercury, is transiting in your 7th house and retrograding over this time frame. Now you see, your 7th house is getting much more activated because of the Jupiter Rahu aspect of Saturn, and now 9th Lord Mercury is also transiting here. Okay, so suppose any matter related to your relationship or marriage is going on, okay, or you are thinking regarding that. So all of a sudden you may see that your that negotiations or that proposals are getting speed up, okay, or the communications are getting speed up, okay, basically. So this is the time. In that way, this Mercury retrograde is going to give you much more better results. On the other hand, suppose if you are already in any kind of relationship, or suppose if you are in any kind of business partnership, then I will say that during this particular time you need to be a bit careful, because Jupiter is your sixth lord, okay, transiting in the seventh house. Means if you are thinking for a new relationship, new partnership, or marriage, then this particular transit of Mercury is going to give you good results. But in case you are having existing partnership, or you are already in any kind of partnership at the personal or the professional level, then you need to be a bit careful, okay. Means you cannot get into any kind of miscommunication, you cannot get into any kind of unnecessary arguments or conflicts. This is not a right time, basically, okay. So I will say you that this is the time when you need to be very careful regarding what you are conversing between you and your partner. This is the most important thing. Second thing what I can share is that all of a sudden there can be some long distance travels to some foreign place. Means if you are planning for it, or if you are thinking that from long time you are thinking for it, then all of a sudden this particular thing can happen, okay, because Mercury is the ninth lord long distance travel, 12th lord far away lands, and seventh house is also foreign. Mercury is retrograding in the seventh house, so it is basically creating a combination where if you are planning for last few months or so, then this particular transition of Mercury is going to give you much more better results. Regarding to that, it is going to give you success. Another thing here I will say that Mercury, since it is the 12th lord transiting in the 7th house along with 6th lord Jupiter, 11th lord Sun and Rahu aspecting the first house, this is also a time you need to be very careful regarding your health also, okay. Means specifically since Mercury is a very good planet for you and it is getting afflicted, and it is also the 12th lord, so I will say you that take care regarding your health during this particular time, okay. So that's it for the Libra ascendant people. Make the most out of it. For the Scorpio ascendant people, the transit of Mercury is happening in the 6th house. Now Mercury happens to be your 8th lord and 11th lord. Now this transit of Mercury for the Scorpio ascendant people is going to be very vital, because it is retrograding in the 6th house. So during this particular time, first thing which I will ask you to is take care regarding your health, okay. Mercury rules over nervous system, basically. Mercury is your 8th lord retrograding in the 6th house, okay. So 2-3 things like something related to nervous system, nerves basically, okay, spinal cord and brain. These are the things where you need to be a bit careful, okay. Mercury also rules our skin, so you need to be very careful regarding anything related to skin disease. So suppose if you are having any kind of prevalent health condition, then you should be extra careful regarding your health during this particular time. Now since Mercury is your 11th lord transiting in the 6th house in the retrograde motion, this is also a time in the good way you may all of a sudden get success over your opponents. Or suppose if you are participating in any kind of competition or something like that, all of a sudden you may get success over there, okay. In that way also this particular Mercury is going to give you much more better results. One more thing, since Mercury is retrograding and 6th house is the house of service, job, or your colleagues or co-workers, so at the job level you need to be very careful regarding how you are communicating with your authorities, with your superiors, with your colleagues, okay. So during this particular time there can be chances of miscommunication or clashes of opinions, okay. One more thing, there can be jealousy, there can be envy. So during this particular time you not only have to protect yourself, but also you have to maintain proper decorum, that you should not get into any kind of jealousy. That is the also most important part and important thing during this particular time, because once you get into any kind of jealousy or something like that, what will happen, this retrograde Mercury energy is going to impact you more. So one thing will lead to another, and after Mercury leaves the sign of Aries, that time it will be a realization for you. It will feel that okay, you should not have got into that influential aspect of that planetary energy. Okay, so these are the things which you need to be very careful of. And Mercury and all these planets, you see this Rahu, Jupiter, Sun, Mercury, since they are transiting in the 6th house, and this Mercury will be retrograding in the 6th house and aspecting the 12th house also. So during this particular time, take extra care of your health. You can incorporate some healthier practices, okay, like some proper yoga exercises that will give you much more better results. Proper food eating habits, okay. Drink a lot of water because Mercury rules over that skin, okay, and it is transiting with Rahu and Sun, okay. So some skin ailments may show up, so drink a lot of water and take care regarding your health also. So that's it for the Scorpio ascendant people. For this Sagittarius ascendant people, Mercury is retrograding in your 5th house. Now for this Sagittarius people, Mercury rules your 7th lord, 7th house and your 10th house. This Mercury is retrograding in the 5th house basically. So during this particular time, I will say you, first of all, this is a time when you may get opportunity to change your profession, or you may get some different opportunity other than your profession or job, means something different, okay, during this particular time, because 5th house is 8th from the 10th house and Mercury happens to be your 10th lord. So suppose if you are thinking to change your profession or find some new opportunity, then during this particular time, this retrogression of Mercury is going to give you good results. But suppose you are working in one particular arena, or you in some kind of job or business, whatever, and you are thinking to grow your work, grow your business, and now this Mercury is retrograding in the 5th house. So all of a sudden some challenges are also seen to come, okay. So you need to be prepared for that. And I will also say that 5th house is also the house of creative self expression. So how you are interacting with big organizations, or how you are interacting with your network circle or your partners, specifically the business partners here I'm talking about, that is going to be very essential part here, because Mercury rules your 7th lord, 7th house, okay. And during this particular time, since Mercury is retrograde in the 5th house, so your ego may come in between, and that can lead to some kind of clashes between you and your partner. So these are the things you need to be very careful about. Means suppose if you are planning to change the job and find some new opportunity, then it is going to give you good results. But suppose if you are thinking to stick to the work, to grow your work step by step, then all of a sudden some challenges may come, because it may make you at times very stubborn related to your belief system, your ideas, that this is going to be this. So out of your impulsion, you say something, you act in some different way, that can lead to some problems between you and your partner, okay, at the professional level. Now if I talk about at the personal level also, then also I will say you that during this particular time, try to avoid any unnecessary miscommunications or unnecessary arguments between you and your partner, because Mercury happens to be your 7th lord also. And since Mercury will be transiting with Rahu and Sun, so it also indicates that it will just all of a sudden increase your ego, means your ego will come between you and your thought process. So don't allow your ego to rule your thoughts during this particular time, because these energies are indicating this kind of things, because that can create problems not only in your personal life, but also between you and your personal relationship also. During this particular time, I will also say that if you are in any kind of love relationship, then there can be some all of a sudden some difficulties or challenges coming in your life, okay. Means you need to follow the responsibilities and commitment more, adhere to it, okay. Or suppose if you are thinking to get into a new kind of relationship, then I will say you that this is not a right time. Wait for it, wait till Mercury turns direct, and then you can think about it, okay. So these are the important things you need to be very careful about. Now if I talk about only 5th house and the aspect of Mercury, then I will say you that this Mercury will also help you out to learn new things like improving your skill set, improving your creative intelligence, or learn new things, or work on your talent and hobbies, and ultimately incorporating those things in your work and life, and basically it is going to give you much more better results, because this Mercury will be aspecting your 11th house of gains. Okay, so ultimately it is going to give you much more better results. Now, since Mercury is aspecting your 11th house is also the house of your network circle, big organizations, your team members. So suppose if you are working in a project, working in a team, then you need to be again very careful regarding how you are communicating with them, or I will say that don't get too much impulsive regarding your ideas, because that can lead to some kind of problems between or unnecessary issues between you and your team members. Okay, so these are the things which you need to be taken care of for the Sagittarius ascendant people. Make the most out of it. Okay. For the Capricorn ascendant people, Mercury is retrograding in the fourth house, and Mercury happens to be your sixth lord. Mercury happens to be your ninth lord. So Mercury is a very important planet for you. It is retrograding in the fourth house. So first thing which I will say here is that you need to be very careful regarding the health of your parents, because fourth house is mother, and Mercury is the ruler of the ninth house also, which significates father. Okay, so you need to be very careful regarding the health of your parents. This is the most important thing here I will say. Second thing, since it is retrograding in the fourth house, now fourth house is our home, the place where we live, the place which gives us mental security, happiness. Okay, so that is the fourth house. So any matter related to your domestic affairs, your domestic environment, your household environment, the place where you live in, or the health of your mother. Okay, and since Mercury is the lord of your ninth house, also health of your father, all of a sudden these kind of things or things related to these issues may all of a sudden come in front of you, where you need to take appropriate decisions related to that. Okay, so suppose if anything you are feeling that needs to get some attention, then give it proper attention and try to resolve it then and there. Don't wait for it to grow something big, and then you are thinking that okay, let it um, happen and then I will see it. Don't do that. Don't ignore it. Okay, suppose anything related to your home, any matter which you are feeling that it needs some attention, it needs some focus, then this is the time when you should not waste your time. You should not ignore the thing, and then and there try to resolve it, try to solve it. By this way, this retrogression of Mercury is going to give you much more better results. This is also a time when you may feel that you have to work lot more in order to get some solutions, or in order to get some good results in your life, because Mercury is your sixth lord and ninth lord. So what is happening, all of a sudden you are not going to get the benefit of your luck and fortune. All of a sudden it is not going to happen. It is like that repetitive hard work, repetitive following of some routine, some schedule, some discipline, then only it is going to give you much more better results. So at times you may feel very lethargic and lazy. You may feel that I have been doing this again and again, I'm not getting good results. Okay, so this kind of feeling may come between this particular retrogression of Mercury, which is happening in this month of now in the April and till 15th of May. Okay, so it is a span of around 24 days when you may feel like this. So you need to be very careful regarding your homely matters, and ultimately it can also impact your mental peace also to certain extent. Okay, now if I talk about some other part of the story, then I will say you that since it is the ninth lord transiting in the fourth house, it is also creating a Raj Yoga. So this is also a time when all of a sudden you may get some good opportunities with respect to your job, career. Okay, means since it is retrograding, all of a sudden you may get some good projects. Means you are expecting, means all of a sudden like some good things coming in your life related to your job, related to your career. Okay, uh, one more thing here I will add is that how you are communicating with your co-workers, with anyone in your office environment. Now that can be your colleague, that can be your superiors or authorities. You need to be very careful regarding that, because Mercury is retrograde. Okay, so don't ignore it. You are dealing with anything related to official matter, documents or correspondence or anything related to that, you need to be very careful regarding that. Okay, so that will give you much more better results. Okay, so that's it for the Capricorn ascendant people. For the Aquarius ascendant people, Mercury is retrograding in your third house. Mercury happens to be your fifth lord, Mercury happens to be your eighth lord for the Aquarius ascendant people. So, Mercury is a very important planet for you and it is retrograding basically in your third house. So, during this particular time, the first and foremost thing is that what you are communicating, to whom you are communicating, in your normal life, day-to-day life also, or in your social media or social networking sites also, you need to be very careful. Specifically, that element of Rahu is present over there. Okay, so out of illusion, out of desire, you may get swayed away and you say something, or you post something on internet, okay, in some social media website. So you need to be very careful regarding that. So all of a sudden, don't say something which you should not say, or which you may not say, because Mercury is the eighth lord. Okay, so all of a sudden it can lead to some kind of consequences. So you need to be very careful regarding that. See, third house is also the house of friends. So this, during this particular time, all of a sudden you may get some new friends. Okay, so before you make new friends, here also I will say you that you need to be also very careful regarding whom you are making a company with, whom you are making new friends with. Okay, because that element of Rahu is always there, so you need to be very careful regarding that. Another thing is that since Mercury is your fifth lord retrograding in the third house, so this is also a good thing related to your talent, related to your hobbies, related to your creative self expression. So this is a time when you can work with your actions, with your creativity and efforts related to your own talents, your own hobbies, and start something new. Suppose if you are thinking from long time that let me work on this, let me start this transit of Mercury in your third house is going to give you much more better results. Okay, so in that way, this transit of Mercury is going to give you good results. Make the most out of it. One more thing here I will add. Mercury is the eighth lord transiting in the third house. So in your daily contact, there can be some kind of miscommunications, or there can be some unnecessary arguments. Try to avoid it. Okay, Mercury will be looking onto your ninth house also. Okay, so during this particular time, try to maintain a proper cordial relationship between you and your father. Try to have a proper cordial bonding between you and your guru also, because there is a chance of miscommunication, there is a chance of all of a sudden, like means you may feel that let me do it, or let me think it, or work on it in some different manner. So that can lead to some kind of clashes between you and your elders in your family, or your father or your guru. Okay, uh, some sudden short travels can be there. All of a sudden some short travels can be seen during this particular transit of Mercury in the retrograde motion in the third house. Okay, so these are the things which are expected for the Aquarius ascendant people, so make the most out of it. For the Pisces ascendant people, this Mercury retrogression is happening in your second house. Mercury happens to be your fourth lord and seventh lord retrograding in the second house. So here 2-3 things I will say you. Most important, first thing is related to your family and finance. Here any matter related to your family member or any family issues all of a sudden may come up and show up in front of you, where you will need to look into it. And since Mercury happens to be your fourth lord also, so your mental peace, your happiness, your domestic happiness will also deal or also depend upon that, regarding how well you are managing that family matter or family issue. So all of a sudden some responsibilities related to your family may all of a sudden may come in front of you. Okay, so these are the things you need to be very careful. Regarding your finances, I will say that don't make any hasteful decision related to your spendings, expenditures, or any investment plan. All of a sudden don't make it. Okay, since Mercury is your fourth lord retrograding the second house, so I can see here is that you may get all of a sudden some benefit related to your landed property, or something related to construction business. Suppose if you're associated with any type of work related to construction, real estate, landed property, or home, or something related to that, or anything related to interior designing, decoration, innovation, all these things, if you are associated with that, because Mercury happens to be at fourth lord retrograding in the second house, so you may get all of a sudden some good results or some financial gains related to that. In that way, this is going to give you much more better results. On the other hand, suppose if you are thinking to make some new financial or investment plans, then I will say you this is not a right time. Try to avoid it. Okay, means after Mercury turns direct, then you may think about it. Okay, but not now. Mercury happens to be at seventh lord transiting in the second house in the retrograde motion, so this is also a time when you may get into some kind of miscommunication or clashes of thoughts between you and your partner. Now that can be at the professional level also or at the personal level also, and the matter related to which the classes may come, that can be related to your finances, your family matters, or your value system. Now here value system has got more importance because of the presence of Jupiter and Rahu, because here Rahu and Jupiter will be like poles apart. They are Rahu is making you very innovative, it is asking you to break the rules, and Jupiter is sticking towards the wisdom, sticking towards the values and morals. Okay, and now Mercury is retrograding, so you may feel classes within your own self. You may feel that what to do. Should I take that innovative approach, take that different approach, or should I stick to my morals, stick to my values? Okay, so this kind of dilemma may be there within you. So during this particular time, I will say that don't overdo anything. uh, Wait for certain times, because till 15th of May Mercury will be retrograde, and after that Mercury will be direct. So that time things will be much more better for you. That time decision making related to your family member, related to your wealth, or even the communication between you and your partner will also improve after that. Okay, so if anything arises during this particular time, don't overdo anything. Try to resolve it, because a proper conversation with backed by logic and wisdom will help you out. Okay, so that's it for the Pisces ascendant people. Make the most out of it. Okay, so that's it for all the 12 ascendant sign. If you have liked this video, press the like button, share to your near and dear ones, and if you are new to this channel, tap onto the subscribe button, click onto the notification bell icon, so that every time I make a new video you get notified instantly. And if you want a consultation from me, check the links in the description section. You can mail me through my email ID, and you can also connect with me through my Facebook or Instagram account. So that's it for now from my side. So next time when I come back, I will be coming back with some another interesting video. So thanking you, I'm signing off for today. Bye bye.